The Shining is often ranked as one of the most iconic horror films of all time, but one of the aims of this series of videos has been to show that there is a lighter side to it. Evidence I've shown to support this includes how Kubrick appears to play on the word overlook by exploiting its ambiguity of meaning, a very postmodern approach to take, especially in 1980. Another manifestation of the film's postmodernism is the range of cultural references, from highbrow films, books and works of art to lowbrow movies and television, all of which contribute to the interpretation of the film. The key symbol of the film is, of course, the maze, which has strong psychological connotations, indicating just what is going on in the film. The conclusion of my video on that subject led me to ask just where the Overlook Hotel is situated. This video will answer that. In fact, Kubrick tells us precisely where the hotel is, and the answer is readily available on the internet. But once found, you do need to realise the significance of what you're looking at, and double check it to confirm. It's on doing that double check that things start to fall in place, and you realise that there really is a puzzle at the core of the film. However, while the word puzzle does not equate to the word conspiracy, there are many who condemn any interpretation that goes beyond an unquestioning acceptance of what is on the screen. Fortunately for those of us who do believe The Shining has more to offer, there is a strong piece of evidence that the film really is a puzzle. It's a statement in an interview by someone who was heavily involved in the film. That person was called Stanley Kubrick. But he didn't make it easy to find. It was in the middle of a double-page interview with Le Monde entitled Il faut courir le risque de subtilité that Kubrick said, "The film is constructed like a puzzle, and I put the last piece in the last image." Now, by this stage of his career, Kubrick's foreign language interviews were being retranslated back into English, so he was absolutely sure that he'd been cited correctly. So, if the film is a puzzle, what is its nature, and what are the clues for solving it? Well, I gave a subtle hint in the last video when I mentioned the Shakespeare quotation in the film which was discussed. What I'm going to do is to present you with 12 clues. 7 are explicitly stated in the film, 4 are inferred with argumentation from previous videos, and 1 is brand new to this series. So looking at the first 7, The Shining takes place in the Overlook, where the Torrance family spend the winter away from their home in Boulder. During the closing day tour of the Overlook, Ullman answers Wendy's questions by stating that the motifs in the Colorado Lounge were Apache and Navajo designs. The seasonal staff have gone to other places. Dick Halloran, for example, is in Miami. We learn that both Colorado and Miami are experiencing a contrast of weather extremes. When he returns to the hotel, Halloran passes through Denver. The next 4 clues are inferred, and I'll present them one page at a time. In a previous presentation, I pointed out that both Scatman Crothers and Tony Burton had appeared in separate episodes of The Incredible Hulk, which starred Bill Bixby in the lead role of Dr. David Banner. I suggested that both episodes had subtle references back to Kubrick or The Shining. Amongst other clues, Crothers spoke a line about Napoleon, Kubrick's dream project. In the episode with Burton, a boy is incongruously seen wearing an adult's blue toweling robe, much as Jack and Wendy wear in The Shining. In an earlier video, I showed that one of 2 paintings in the Boulder apartment by Alex Colville is called Horse and Train. On researching the origins of the painting, you find that it was inspired by a couplet written by poet Roy Campbell. That couplet went, "Against a regiment I oppose a brain, and a dark horse against an armoured train." Probably influenced by her favourite colours, I pointed out in Shining and The Shining Part 1 that Millie Lamoureux's address in Altman's Three Women was Purple Sage Apartments, 396 Colgate Avenue, Desert Centre. For the penultimate clue, you'll recognise the shot from Psycho, which I've already used before. The Room 237 bathroom scene has long been considered an inversion of Psycho, which of course featured Norman Bates as the murderer. Hopefully you'll understand why this is important very soon now. Last but by no means least, the final clue is also an inferred reference, but one that we've not seen before at all in this series. There appear to be at least 2 films vying as candidates for inspiring the scene of the crushed red Volkswagen. It's perfectly possible that they both contributed ideas as we've seen before in other videos. The misty atmosphere and capsized lorry in Oh Lucky Man by Lindsay Anderson provides greater realism, but for purposes of this presentation I'm going to go with Jean-Luc Godard's Le Mépris, even though the vehicles look relatively undamaged. My reason is that it concerned a film director played by Fritz Lang, a Kubrick favourite, making a film of the Odyssey, which shouldn't need any explanation at all. So if we take all the words which I highlighted in bold, we have the following: Overlook, Boulder, Apache, Navajo, Miami, Weather, Denver, Bixby, Dark Horse, Colgate Avenue, Bates, and Goddard. So just what possibly could connect all of these names together? Well, a few years ago on Julie Kern's website adilopuspress.com, a gentleman called Tom Rouse identified the location of the Torrance's Boulder apartment as the Kensington Apartments in Bixby Lane. Travel south from Bixby Lane on 29th Street and you'll reach Baseline Road. Just south of Baseline Road you'll find the Dark Horse Restaurant. It's been there since 1975. Go back to Baseline Road and then head eastwards and you'll reach Inca Parkway. Going south on Inca Parkway we reach Apache Road. Apache Road lies parallel to the Denver-Boulder Turnpike. If you head north up Osage Drive it brings you to Navajo Place. Now let's pop over South Broadway to Harvard Lane and head north to Dartmouth Avenue. On the left we find Colgate Avenue. It's exactly the same name as the road on which Millie Lamoureux lives in Three Women. The next road along from Colgate Avenue we find is Bates Avenue. Does that remind you of a certain Hitchcock thriller I've emphasized, which Kubrick quotes in his film? Now turn around and head back south on Harvard Lane towards Table Mesa Drive. As you travel southwestwards along this road, on your left you'll find Miami Way. Continue westwards on Table Mesa Drive and to your left you'll come across Goddard Place. Okay, it's not quite spelt the same as the director, but I reckon you can see why I opted for him rather than Lindsay Anderson. Further west, and Table Mesa Drive becomes NCAR Drive. NCAR stands for National Centre for Atmospheric Research. The actual institute lies a little bit further to the west. They study the weather there. Which leaves only Overlook to explain. To get there, we have to go back further north to Dartmouth Avenue. We then take Kenwood Drive, and then to the left you'll find Overlook Drive. And just in case you think that I invented all of that, let's see where Kubrick located the Overlook from the zip code on his specially created hotel stationery. Now try looking up zip code 80305. You should get roughly the same area as the streets we've just looked at in Table Mesa. It's a suburb of Boulder, which Stephen King specifically referred to in his novel. There are a few more such examples I've identified, but they need quite lengthy background explanation. Hopefully those I've shown will have convinced you that there is a light-hearted side to The Shining, and that a puzzle constitutes part of that. Nonetheless, I must confess to having misled you. The title of this video says that it solves The Shining. That is only partly true. It does narrow down the physical location of the Overlook, but the beauty of Kubrick is that it raises further questions. A notable one is, how do you reconcile a sizable mountaintop hotel as being located in a Boulder suburb? That should actually be quite easy if you watch the psychology videos. Another question is why Kubrick specifically decided to use a map. While it fits the strange streets of the quotation mentioned in the last video, I believe there is a more solid reason for this, but it means going deeper into the literature implicit in The Shining. Other intrigues still persist. What is the relevance of the final photograph? I have to confess I've still not found that. Why are there two official versions of the film of such differing lengths? That, I believe, takes us into rather edgy territory, but I suspect that if Mr. Kubrick were watching us go there, he would be laughing every step of the way. The question now is, do we take that path? So thank you very much for viewing this presentation. I hope you enjoyed the content, even if the production values left something to be desired. I'm afraid I'm not very gifted in that area. Also, please bear in mind that this is just one small facet of the puzzle that is The Shining. If you'd like to see more such presentations, please remember to like, subscribe and share the link. You may also be interested in the book from which the content of these videos is extracted. It's called The Games Room, a novel interpretation of Stanley Kubrick's film The Shining, and is available as a Kindle download from Amazon.